Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be a speaker on this webinar. So thanks for organizers who invited me. My name is Sergey Polekhin. I am solution architect from Qlik. I personally work with Qlik products for more than 10 years, and today I will be glad to share my experience with you. Also, let me to introduce my colleague, Denis Katyushin, who represent today one of the most experienced Qlik partners, named Cube Data. We also invited Denis to have an ability to provide you an additional details on projects we will discuss today. And Denis and his colleagues already delivered a lot of huge BI projects related especially to banking market. And in addition, they continue to work on expanding these projects. They have real-world experience to create Qlik solutions scalable on thousands of users. So another reminder, please feel free to ask any questions. We aim to answer on them as many as possible. You can ask questions by using chat in Zoom, in this Zoom conference. First of all, I would like to give an overview of our agenda today. First, I will spend several minutes to give an answer on an important question, why you are required to concentrate on BI, and why BI projects is required to be as one of the first priority projects, even you already planned other activities to improve your business. Secondly, I will provide you an overview of areas you might be, to say, most significant scenarios used in different banks to receive the maximum return of investment from the BI projects. And of course, you will see these areas strongly related to most important business process in any bank. On next step, I will go through the several examples of projects, and for each of them, we'll try to provide interesting details, like some background, for example, what customer would like to achieve, how they go through the projects and achieve the results. Of course, we will have no time on this seminar to discuss all details on these projects, but I will be glad, as I said before, to answer on your questions as many as possible, as I said before. At the end of my presentation, I will spend a little time to give you an overview for typical technical architecture for BI solutions based on Qlik products. Because as all we understood, technical and security areas are always on the top of priorities and interests as soon any bank works with a lot of personal information. My presentation will also consist of several slides at the end with links related to videos on YouTube channel. These videos may be useful for you if you like to take additional details on several projects, not only from my side, but also from the customer side directly. These videos are captured from the different public conference mentioned today by Vladimir, where the customers' representatives share their view and deliverables on their projects based on Qlik software. As usual, our world is moving faster and faster. New market capabilities compete with market volatility. Increased push from the regulators required to spend additional resources to conform new rules of operations, support and security. For sure, there are a lot of cases which require involvement and spending additional external resources to mitigate these challenges. However, what is important is that you internally already have of the significant resources. This is, of course, your data. What is important, this is already collected data can be used not only to answer on some reactive questions like how you and how we work now. These data can also be used to answer proactive and prescriptive questions, like what the key influences on current situations or what I am required to do to achieve my goals in current conditions. Behind all this, several market conditions are simply required to use modern BI solutions to conform new ways of doing business. For example, you might know the term provided by McKinsey and at 2017. It sounds as a digital at scale. It means companies become digitalized. However, it also means digital era would go to those companies that don't just try to be digital, but can also scale it. scale on amount, scale on speed, scale on any dimensions you can imagine. This approach assumes several key things are required to be delivered. First is consumer is at the center of priorities. You are required to deeply understand your consumer at any levels as much as possible. Sorry. This will give ability to better consumer retain and engagement. Second is faster delivery of digital products. It means understanding and developing your proposal and operation process to work as a conveyor. But of course, conveyor which not only repeats some stupid operations, this conveyor can be fast adopted based on new conditions, come from the consumer or regulator side. And third is the business model changes is inevitable. In response to digital drivers, organizations are shifting their focus from what they sell, for example, to how they sell. Flexibility is crucial for digitalization and business model transformation. To succeed, organization must move from project-based episodic delivery to continuous integration and delivery. All these key factors with current amount of data can be investigated and highlighted only through the business intelligence solutions. To support the idea, you can see Gartner's investigation results too. In 2019, 2 years after McKinsey, they practically found the same results as McKinsey said before. They confirm the digital transformation is a key factor for banking business and analytics as enabler of such digital transformation. As I said before, business model is inevitable. And obviously, top 10 scenarios of changes or transformations are directly related to top 10 most demanded BI solutions we will speak later. What top of 10 analytics scenarios for banks transformation? You currently can see them on the slide. This is scenarios almost all key BI scenarios demanded in any banks. For sure, different banks realize these scenarios in different order. All these scenarios are additive, so you are able to achieve additional value from each scenario as soon as you deliver it. And several of these scenarios we will discuss today later in more details. Moreover, we can give an additional information for you on personal meetings, as Vladimir said before, if you will ask us on it. On next slides, I will show some screenshots. Some of them are working prototypes. Some of them are real dashboards with, of course, impersonated data. So please not only see the picture, not concentrate only on design, but thinking about the idea and ask your questions in chat, please. So the first area is examples for analytics for top managers. This area has some specifics because usually most of analytics prefer to have deep dive into a lot of details. But top managers usually works not in very detailed level. Usually top managers concentrate not only on day-to-day operations. It assumes some strategic view on business at all and providing them ability to make some strategic decisions like invest or not invest, change or not change the business model at all. For example, I will provide example slide with probably one of possible kind of this strategic view or overview. This example, this dashboard is a workable prototype which allow to see the idea and discuss the details, not in theory, but as you see them now. And I'd like to underline that Qlik's approach is always aimed to work using MVP strategy. This means fast creation minimal but viable product which allow customer to receive the real feeling from working with their real data as soon as possible. Less theory, more real work with their real data. Our practice show minimal viable product can be delivered from 1 to 3 months, even from you are beginning your project from scratch. As you can see, this dashboard consists of several areas important at strategic level. I will try to select some areas to underline the idea on this slide. For example, at the top left corner, you can see the list of customer strategic goals with actual information on how to these goals was achievable at the current moment. So first concentration and the left top, we see the strategic goals of the bank, for example. At the left middle, you can see the priority or key tasks related to the goals mentioned above. Of course, these tasks weighted and show their current achievement status too. At the left bottom, we can see the heat map. Usually, a lot of people prefer the tables, simple tables, but you can see probably a better way to show the areas to be required to improved because they are showed not by digits, they show as heat map. You can see on this heat map overview on some KPI by territory. You can see the different territories at the column on the left side and colored green, red status for each KPI for each territory on the right side of this area. At the top center, we can see some dynamics for some key indicators. For bonds, this is usually actives and passives. And at the middle center, we can see an accent on some problem areas. For example, in this case, is amount of problematic corporate loans and consumer loans, for example. And at the bottom center, we have some details on top problematic customers with some digits, with some detailization. But of course, we are always concentrating on strategic information. For example, top 3, top 5, top 10 maximum is most important information for strategic view. Right side concentrates on some internal business view. So this is internal information for strategic decisions is how to bank works internally, like risks by territories, internal support cases, KPI for bank employees, like churn and availability, and etc. Next slide is example of real dashboard based on approach we discussed before. Users of this dashboard are board of directors. Previously, all information related to these users was delivered through a lot of PDF files. What is interested is this type of activities is usual for a lot of huge organizations and bank not excluding this. So any decision-making process was supported by a lot of PDF files. We are required to investigate and to take into attention. And the main idea and the goal of this dashboard is to provide all information in some storytelling mode instead of investigating separate files. You can see this vertical bar on mobile application. At the left, we show to select area of business like corporates, small business, retail, etc. And horizontal bar, I've specially zoomed in on top to have some descriptions of icons you can see in mobile application in minimized mode. And this horizontal bar allows to select subject areas of analysis and control like market risks, strategic initiatives, etc. Later, this strategic board become as a starting point for a lot of projects on different detailed areas, as we discussed before on slide with top 10 BI scenarios. Whole solution now works as tool for automatic KPI monitoring for all banks territories. For example, this customer at the first priority requested to have detailed view for their regional network. This means territory view of their business. And this KPI was developed during the BI project. For example, on the first stage was created KPI which allowed to measure the number of loans delivered on territory. But on the next step, this KPI was to adopt the KPI to allow not only to measure the number of loans, but show the quality of these loans. This means, for example, to show risks on loans for consumers with some non-transparent history, I mean financial history. Current version of application allow use it as an automated motivation and compensation tool for bank employees, because each of employees can automatically understand the quality of their self-work, how they conform the required quality delivered loans. This automated motivation approach for banks employees already receive very positive feedback from all territory managers, and this is my opinion, this is a perfect example how BI can not only show current status of your business, but can be used to automate some processes and improve them to give employees ability to understand how their personal work influence for whole results of the company they have worked. Next slide. This is just another example of dashboard for top manager operational meetings. I will not spend time to discuss on it. Of course, it have different design. There are a lot of different designs from different customers, but we'll underline some valuable points. This customer received more accurate data as stated on the slide, reduced time window from 6 weeks to 1 week, and reduced a lot of paperwork by avoiding from editing presentation with more than 150 slides. And customer received integration and these other valuable data sources like news, tasks, and receivability to search. Next example just shows a view and ability to adopt interface on mobile to increase the coverage of users who will use these applications. What is important, this mobile interface delivered through the out-of-the-box integration tool like Qlik CIS mashups. And this is important because you're trying any attempt to provide an additional service, try to experiment with providing some valuable information to your users, will have low cost for you because you can use much capabilities, functional capabilities included out of the box into the Qlik CIS without a lot of programming, without a lot of spending time to achieve the required results. Just another example of design. We will not spend time on this. Of course, we also can see a lot of designs examples on Qlik public demo sites. I will show you because hope you will use these sites by yourself, and we'll see the examples of these applications. The link you can see at the top of my web browser, demos.qlik.com. And for example, if you will choose the finance, for example, function, one moment, we'll refresh the browser. You will see the examples of applications. related, for example, to financing, which allow you to investigate some examples of design and also to study some financial functions included out of the box into the product. Hope internet connection will be able to provide information fastly. Yeah. So finance, for example, and for example, if I use the first provided application, Finance Toolkit, for example, will launch these applications. As you can see, all functionality available for me from any modern web browser. So I'm not required to have any other tool, especially on my desktop. So any workplace can be useful for me from my desktop to my mobile devices. And you can by yourself go through the pages in these applications and investigate possible visualization scenarios and possible financing calculations, for example. And also I underline some ideas was discussed before by Alexey in previous presentation. I mean flexibility of visualization objects. The idea of Qlik, this is idea unachievable in any other competitive solutions. I mean, in Qlik sense, we use paradigm to have ability to flexible grab any data on any visualization objects by not using classical filter, but by using interactive visualization object. For example, you can select your data on any axis, for example, on horizontal or vertical. This is maybe any variants of what you like to see, how you like to see. The same idea is related not only to some graphs, but any tables, any objects you can use as interactive elements to grab the data you are interested in, for example. What is interested, for example, also in this application is capability to make some specific calculations. For example, this page show you ability to create some custom reports by users by themselves, but these custom reports can be delivered through light click to use strategy. What I mean, I have a list of dimensions, I have list of metrics, and to show some digits in a way I prefer, I select some dimension or dimensions, and I'm selecting some metrics, one of or several metrics, and can see the digits. Of course, I can grab the data I have related to, for example, and have recalculations for any KPIs I am required. Also, we have not a lot of time to demonstrate Qlik Sense as a product by itself, but I would like to underline what you currently see now, for example, even on this screen. You can see the different color coding for data you use. For example, at green, you are seeing the data you are selected, so you are interactively grabbed in. All related data showed in a white color, and not related data showed in gray color. So without any programming, you can see all dependencies on data, what we named associative model. And even if you're not using some tables, you are not using some visualization objects. So you are not creating nice picture, but you can go through the data, simple grab any data and see how one data related to other. So any associations, any relations within the data will showed automatically by the Qlik engine. So this is very strong competitive value from Qlik in compared to any different competitors. For example, I will not go through the all pages. For example, I will show one page with ability to make some calculations in a scenario what if analysis. For example, you can provide some objects which allow user to provide some parameterized entering data, and of course all data you have in your dashboard, in your page will be automatically calculated in real time. So the probability of these scenarios is capability to give the user ability to make some hypotheses and calculations based on this hypothesis. So switch back to presentation. Just another dashboard which allow you to see the flexibility of design which may can be able to achieve in out of the box functionality of Qlik CIS. Some examples of client analytics. Of course, as I said, we will not spend time on design discussion. The value bank received in this area is out-of-the-box capability of Qlik products to make comparisons. What is important? Comparisons with different parameters. In any other non-Qlik tools, these tasks require a lot of time spending on programming. And also this is example of Qlik which can be used in prediction and forecasting scenarios. Alexei in previous presentation already mentioned this, but I'd like to underline that Qlik is perfect to integrate, to provide out-of-the-box prediction analysis, and also has a perfect integration capabilities with third-party different predictive engines, which allow users not deep dive into the technical side and see the different calculations made by the Qlik and made by third-party engine, but in one page, as you can see, for example, on the screen now, on the page with pretty design and not thinking about how this calculated technically. Just another example shows ability to give the users tool these push notifications, which allow not only to see the data on requests and use it and generate it by user interactivity, but receive important information immediately as it's soon to as it come to work. Also, different kind of design provided in different bank who also exist our existing customer. This different type of categorization with different type of criteria they are used to analyze and show the data to their internal users. Just another example of metrics, in this case, customer satisfaction details. So many screenshots I'm using to demonstrate out-of-the-box capability to use, as I said before, capability to make different designs for different customers, for different groups of users in useful way, especially for these groups. Financial and sales analysis, several examples on this area. Just example of the case, hope some of you will be interested in this area and will ask us for additional meetings to discuss this scenario in details. So there are a lot of some KPIs which used in the banks. They are listed on this slide. I will not repeat or read them. You can see them in my screen. So if you're interested in this, please ask this and we will organize a meeting and provide more details on this. Next case also might be available for some of you. As you probably know, there is government regulations which aim to control the situations with conflict of interests. Also, this scenario will able to, as underwriting, to estimate cross ownership of some actives. And what is interesting, you can see not only the data provided in typical way, I mean some bar charts, dot charts, maybe tables, lists, etc. You can some graphs integrated into the applications, and also these graphs are clickable. They are allows, as I said before, to grab the interested data in any visualization objects if you are interested in. Some examples of loan portfolio analysis. Also, this screenshot is a real dashboard with some impersonated data. The idea is to realize the dashboard analyzes a research approach. Because of confidentiality, I cannot show this application, but I will show the idea on public demo application. I will switch to Qlik CIS. For example, I have application which consists of 4 pages, and these pages not only provide analysis in some way, but the way which we can see the order of the pages are coordinated with top managers who usually say, okay, please give us capability to investigate the data and make some predictions, but please take an attention. We usually analyze and use information in some way. So please realize this way as we usually do this in day-to-day business. For example, the first page, we have some concentrated view on KPIs and number on these KPIs. Of course, all objects are interactive. Alexei before said about this and demonstrated this. But what is important, as I said before, all objects are allow us to grab any information. For example, if I would like to see some digits and deep dive into the data, I can select the data directly on visualization objects. It can be several grabbing. What is important, only Qlik automatically show me the context. So currently I see grabbed data, so I see all the data related to my interactive activity without creating special filters, special visualization objects, and spending time on programming on this. So if information I've received is good enough for me, I will not deep dive and will not switch to any other pages. But if you would like to receive some additional details, I simply go to the next page. And what is important, I will see the data on this next page, maybe in different visualization objects, in different way, but I will see the data in the same context, with same accounts, with the same period I've already chosen on previous page. Of course, I can grab an additional some information. I already see this additional grabbing information in my whole context. I can grab information on any objects Also, I can, for example, grab even on color side, color legend side. So this flexibility, as I said, you will have not see in any other products existing in the market. So this is capability available only Qlik CIS. If I've received the answer on my interested questions, I'm not going through. But if I have additional questions, more detailed questions, I'm simply switch to next page with maybe different and more detailed view for my data. And I also demonstrate that any objects allow me to grab information and have more focus on the information. And on last page, I'm switched to, for example, I'm seeing transactional data, for example, detailed data, and for example, I see some problem, for example, I select problem rows, I am select problem customers, and I see some KPIs related to this problem to these customers. And what is also important, if I would like to switch back and receive an overview on top-level KPI for this information, I'm simply switch to the first page because my context I'm going through and it received through the pages is the same, and all KPI metrics I received now are related to my interactive grabbing and focusing information. So the ability I've demonstrated currently is out-of-the-box functionality with no requirement to programming, and it allows you to very quickly go through go to results based on your data. Switch back to presentation. What I'd like to underline at the end of my presentations, it's some ideas on architecture for advanced approaches and best practices. First of all, you are required to thinking on how to organize the work. I have no time today to discuss this in detail, but what is important that success of BI project based not only on BI tool like Qlik CIS, it based on the right methodology, right approach, right education, and of course coordination. Fortunately, we have all of this. And of course, we are ready to meet, discuss, and give all the information for you. Just ask us of this. I will remember what said Vladimir Itkin in the first today's presentation. We are glad to provide any available resources for you, like meetups, like marathons, like courses, like trainings, personal or training for groups. We and our partners are ready to do this now. And several slides with architecture overview. Of course, maybe no a lot of technical people currently on this meeting, but I would like to underline that Qlik, we are mentioned it, internally has all out-of-the-box capability, which allow your BI project to be successful. Even you beginning from scratch. Any data sources, any ETL, I mean extract, transformation, load processes, data preparations, data transformations, and storages are provided out of the box without any requirements to any third-party tools. There is not does not matter. There is, for example, data warehouse in your data infrastructure exist or not. You can achieve the success because you can create based on Qlik the full infrastructure from integrating with different data services, provide some simple or maybe not simple data extraction procedures, data transformation. You can store data by out-of-the-box functionality of Qlik CIS. You can provide data modeling, create any models with any levels of difficulties. And of course, you can use internal visualization. You have a lot of API, I mean, capability to create custom visualizations if you thinking that standard visualization not meet your requirements. Also, we have capability to not only to provide interactive investigation of your data, as I showed before, but you can use classical reporting mechanism, which allows you to push the data regularly to some files with format you like to choose, for example, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, HTML, etc., and deliver these reports to users by email, by the file, on maybe to put them on some portal. And of course, you have internal tools which allow you to fully control access to your data on base of your applications, on base of single row of your any single row of your data, and even you have no strong security infrastructure, no strong security data role model. You can create it in Qlik CIS to be guaranteed that sensitive data will be available only to users who are really required to have this access. And last slide on this architecture is concentrating on scalability, high availability, and capability to provide all functionality on on-premise infrastructure. Because as all we know, banks works with a lot of information which requires a high level of data security and confidentiality. And of course, simplest Qlik CIS installation can work on single server, but here on the slide, you can see a real world example of installation which provides high availability solutions and Qlik CIS installed in several data centers. And this functionality, all functionality of Qlik CIS may be delivered on several servers. So this infrastructure is scalable for several thousands active users. So this very scalable solutions, and this scalability is supported by real examples. For example, Vladimir mentioned Sberbank with more than 100,000 users currently. And as I promised, several slides to finish my presentation. If you like not only to hear the information about these scenarios from me, but like to understand the feeling from the customer who realized this project on their side and how they mitigate to use Excel reports, how they substituted PowerPoint, etc. You can use YouTube channels which have video grabbed from public conferences, which allow you to understand the feeling from customer side, how they go through the projects and what the result they achieved. So colleagues, I'm ready to answer your questions if we have any.
Can I scrape data from Oracle SQL servers?
Shortly answer yes. Qlik is possible to grab any data from any data source. Mentioned database provides structured data, so this is the simplest way to receive this data through the standard, for example, ODBC or OLEDB connections. But if you have some data not so structured as its database provides, for example, some text files, maybe even PDF files, you can, in almost cases, load this data directly from these data sources. As I said before, Qlik internally has all functionality required to make all things with data, including connecting to data sources, loading data, transfer, clear the data, and prepare this data for best way for modeling in current case and to visualize and use this data by end user.
So, and about data from web, can I scrap data from web?
Yeah, for sure. For example, I will show you, not in theory. I will answer this question from technical side. For example, if you would like to add some data from any data sources, currently you will see the most popular data sources which supported by Qlik CIS out of the box. A lot of special database, like you mentioned, Oracle or Microsoft SQL, or maybe standard protocols, LDB or DBC. Also, you have ability to connect to web files. I mean URL links, and even grab some tables from HTML pages, for example, or parse, for example, some text files which publish it on their websites. Also, of course, you are able to receive the data from FTP if you have this. Of course, there is a standard and flexible REST connector which allow to connect to any JSON data source, etc. So almost any cloud or on-premise data source you are able to use as a data source and grab this data from this.
Do you have Qlik AI and machine learning models? If yes, can you show an example? Yeah, about example, not now, I think, but about the question.
As I mentioned before, Qlik has a lot of statistical functions and prediction functions internally. I mean, integrated out of the box in Qlik engine by itself. Also, Qlik perfectly can be integrated with other third-party predictive engines by using standard, which is Google RPC protocol. And what is important that if you technically can do these integrations, the end user will not break the mind on these integrations, because he will see the simple visualization objects with some digits, with some kind of visualization, and the ability to calculate provided by different engine in the moment in one time will be not visible for this user. So user simple use to use this data, but in reality, this data will be provided by different data engines, and visually they will be provided as an integrated view for end user.
So next question, I need to take data from the NoSQL and I have problem for the getting the needed column. Could the Qlik going to resolve this problem?
Yeah. As I said, you even can grab any text for example, non-SQL, for example, maybe JSON or maybe simple text. You can receive the text string from any data source and parse it by using internal ETL functions. You may divide them on any algorithm you would like to use, because ETL is full functional language in Qlik. You can use usual table operations, and you can use almost all classical procedures, for example, loops, for example, conditions, for example, procedures, for example, variables, parameterized variables, etc. So any preparations and any transformations is available to you. And based on my experience on more than 10 years with working on Qlik products, I never seen a customer who can say, unfortunately, I cannot